What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. Holy shit, that was the weirdest game I've ever experienced in my goddamn life, and that probably fits the day that I had. If people didn't watch the Phillies stream earlier, recapping that game on how I expressed how weird my day was. Of course, the Eagles had to find a way to make it weird. And maybe I should have expected that. First game back in so long, first week of NFL football. Of course, there's so much weirdness. Because my God, that game just didn't make sense. But the result is Eagles are 1-0 to start the season. I guess we take it. We take it any day of the week. So, Eagles beat the Cowboys. They win a 24-20 to move to 1-0 to start the season. And it definitely was a tale of two halves. No doubt. First half, all offense. Second half, lightning delay, weather delay, whatever you want to call it. That was a delay for like 45 minutes to an hour, it felt like. It felt like it took forever. We're like, oh my God, this game's never going to end. Oh my God, this game's going to take forever. Then they finally came back onto the field. They did their warm-ups and stretches for like 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it was. Then the game started back up, and no offense could do anything. All the defense was just basically, like I said, it's a tale of two halves. All offense in the first half, all defense in the second half. And I'll say good on the Eagles defense for stepping up in the second half. Also, thanks to CeeDee Lamb dropping a bunch of balls that he probably should have caught. Because, oh my God, those were a lot of drop balls there. And also the Eagles defenders secondary of like Quinyon Mitchell, Reed Blankenship. Those are balls that you got to catch, dude. My God. Because that game would have been way sealed and over with if you did. My goodness. But, weird. But I think we got to get to the weirdest thing. Probably, because there were so many weird things that happened in this game, and it's probably the most annoying thing is the fact that before the first snap even happens, when you're in the huddles and all that stuff, Jalen Carter gets ejected from the game. We're like, what? What is going on here? All of a sudden we see like there's all of a sudden we see like a whole huddle between the players and all that stuff. We see the flags go out, and then we hear that there's unsportsmanlike conduct on Jalen Carter, and the dude's ejected from the game. Then we see on the replays, he's spitting at Dak Prescott. I'm like, what? What are you doing there, buddy? What the fuck is the point of that? That is so disrespectful. Why are we even doing that? How dumb are you? How dumb are you to even do that in that? You basically screwed your team over in that instance, defensively for a lot of the part, because the entire Eagles defense mainly runs through Jalen Carter, and that's a whole adjustment thing because Dallas was running the ball very well in the first part of the game. And then, of course, second half of the game, after all the rain suspension nonsense, then we see the replay that Dak actually baited Jalen Carter into spitting because Dak, I guess, was taunting Carter or something like that. He spat on the ground and laughed or something. Carter came up, then spat on Dak Prescott. That doesn't make the excuse there. I'm sorry. Yes, I understand Dak started it, but you don't follow that up by spitting on the guy. You could spit on the ground. You could spit around on the ground. You don't have to spit at the physical human being, because that's just gross. That's just terrible. That's not ethical. Dude, what are you doing? That's just dumb. That's immature. And I know that's a lot of things that are the question marks around Jalen Carter, but this dude's such a beast on the field. You can't risk doing that, man. And yes, this is a very young defense, and there definitely are a lot of questions that I do have about the defense. Obviously, there were a lot of questions about the defense coming into this season, specifically surrounding the secondary. My God, Adoree Jackson, holy shit. This dude was like 8 yards off of coverage every single time, and it was just wide open. CeeDee Lamb and all that stuff. George Pickens, everything. It was not good looking, to say the least, to say the slightest. My God. It was not pretty, on like first half wise. Second half, it got better, but it's still like, I feel like the first half effect was more on the impact of losing Jalen Carter, him getting ejected from the game. The defense did step up. There definitely were a lot of adjustments made by Vic Fangio really after that I would say that thunderstorm suspension, most likely. That was where a lot of the uh, adjustments came from the defensive front. They looked like it felt like they were blitzing a lot more. They were getting the Dak a lot more. They were pressuring him a lot and forcing him into uncomfortable situations. And they were forcing some of the players on, some of the playmakers on Dallas. They were forcing mistakes out of them. Also, freaking George Pickens out there trying to take the legs out of Quinyon Mitchell in the end zone after, the ball gets thrown over his head and all that crap. It's just, this game was so weird. This game was just bonkers barnacles. It was crazy. I guess that's I guess that just fitting for first game of the week, for banner night, for Eagles versus Cowboys. This is how it's going to go. Like, this game was so weird. It took till one of the final plays for AJ Brown to get targeted. That's how weird this game was. And it also took forever for a tush push to even happen. It took until the fourth quarter. It took until the fourth quarter for a tush push to happen. It happened back to back. I'm like, geez, I want to see the tush push that's sponsored by Dude Wipes. Come on. Come on. What's taking so long for this? But you got first half, Jalen just completely pantsing the defense of the Dallas Cowboys, because that's what Jalen does best. Running all over the place, Saquon doing his thing. Actually, there was a beautiful dime to Jahad Dotson deep. That was fantastic. There were a couple of throws to Devontae Smith. He was targeting Dallas Goedert a lot, actually. You know, they were definitely more focused on, I would say, running the ball today. There definitely were some instances where Dallas did adjust and they were shutting down Saquon Barkley. They were stacking the box a lot. And I kind of do think that has a lot more influence on what was going on with Landon Dickerson during the game. And obviously, we know with Landon Dickerson, the whole meniscus situation in training camp. He missed a lot of the, weeks of training camp and all that stuff. Recently just came back, to be prepared for this first game of the season. And honest to God, I have question marks in the back of my mind if Landon Dickerson should have even played this game. If, granted, that's all hindsight and all that crap, but definitely once you saw, there was this, I forget which, I think it was in the second quarter, it was in the first half sequence of this game where Landon Dickerson just landed awkwardly. You saw him like favoring his hip, his back area, and then eventually he probably just couldn't go anymore and eventually had to get taken out of the game. I'm not sure if there was a situation where Jordan Mailata got banged up too, but that left side of the Eagles offensive line just was allowing a little too much for my liking. And maybe that's just as simple as Landon Dickerson just wasn't effective enough because he was playing banged up. Maybe Jordan Mailata was playing banged up or something like that. Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe it's as simple as that. Why the left side of the offensive line was getting beat as much as it was in certain aspects of this game. Because Saquon really couldn't do much in that second half. He really just couldn't. They kept trying to shoot him at the middle, and Dallas just kept stacking the box and really just preventing him from going anywhere. Some of the times he would lose yardage in that fact. So it was... Dallas definitely adjusted. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, both offenses could not do anything in the second half. Eagles defense definitely stepped up, forced Dallas into, obviously, the one thing that sucks is that you force the fumble after fucking Miles Sanders, of all people, gets that long rush to get Dallas in the Eagles' territory. And then, thank God, you punch the ball out of Miles Sanders, in fact, and Quinyon Mitchell comes up with the fumble, and instantly you go into that thunderstorm delay, which probably took a lot of momentum away from the Eagles' offense. And honest to God, too, Dak Prescott probably prevented a fumble return touchdown from the way that he just like sprawled to go after Quinyon Mitchell to take him down. It was Jesus Christ. My God. My God. It was a weird, 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 weird game. A lot of flags too on the Eagles in the first half as well. Just the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Nolan Smith was bullshit. The penalty on Reed Blankenship in the end zone was bullshit. That forced a pass interference. Like, what the fuck is Reed Blankenship supposed to do there? The dude is going in full force, and he makes contact with the ball first, and he's going after the ball. He can't stop his body as he's going into the Dallas receiver. He can't do anything about that there. Like, what is Reed supposed to do? Like, stop full force right in that area? It's fucking impossible. So there definitely were some questionable questionable flags, of course, but obviously there was a lot of undisciplinedness from the Eagles. And what makes me annoyed more with the Nolan Smith unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for fucking taunting. The NFL says they're going to hammer down on taunting starting the season even more than they usually were. They're going to stop hammering down on it by week 4. I guarantee you that. Because that's what the fucking NFL does. They say they're going to do one thing, then they eventually get lenient on it as the season goes along. So it's the first game. Of course, they're going to be fucking enforcing it to shit. But it's just still, it's like, how soft are we? How soft are we getting here to where you can't even flex after a good stop by Nolan Smith? Like, come on here. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? There were a couple of times they could have sacked Dak. Like Jordan Davis actually almost had a chance and it just kept slipping out. They were getting at Dak a little bit in that second half. They just fucking couldn't tackle him, which was kind of annoying. But defense did step up. Like I said, it was also a lot of help for CeeDee Lamb having the Butterfinger case. Definitely having the Butterfinger case. That is that is definitely a fact there. But could you say that they were lucky to win this game? Probably yes. Probably yes. But I would say the defense, even though, like I said, I'm going to keep bringing up the CeeDee Lamb Butterfingers because he definitely was Butterfingers because probably should have caught that deep ball on the 4th down play. Probably. Ball touched their hands, man. You got to find a way to make the catch. And I would say the same thing because Dak almost threw a bunch of interceptions as well on that ensuing drive, even though one of them did go through the hands of CeeDee Lamb and just bounced right off of Quignon's hand. So Quignon's got to find a way to secure those picks. Like, come on, dude. You got to secure that. Same thing with Reed Blankenship, another ball that went off of fucking CeeDee Lamb. There were definitely a couple of those. I don't remember. I think there was a bunch of them that just went off of CeeDee Lamb, and you could have found a way to pick it off, and you just missed it. It was like I said, this entire game is just very, very goddamn weird. Very weird. Some things that we are going to have to continue to look into. Granted, it is week 1. Obviously, A.J. Brown just not being targeted whatsoever. Yes, he did get the target at the end of the game, which did result into a huge first down conversion by Jalen Hurts, where it basically sealed the game off, which was very huge for you. But you got to find a way to get the ball into your playmaker's hand and just let him go to work. You just need to. I don't know if it was something that Dallas was doing that was just preventing A.J. Brown from getting open, or it's something just with brand new coordinator and Kevin Patullo and all that stuff. But I know these first few weeks are probably going to be a work in progress with this team. Obviously, it's not going to be the prettiest thing that we've seen in the world. Granted, what we saw last year with a 2-2 start, with how much we hated that team during the 2-2 start, and then they fixed everything after the bye week. Granted, last year was a work in progress too, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl and got so goddamn elite that they just kept dominating on a week by week basis. But so yeah, these first few weeks, no, without a doubt, are gonna be sloppy. Probably gonna be a work in progress, and we probably should have expected that to that point. I think also mainly on the defensive side too, just because you lost so much veteran leadership on that defensive side. With Brandon Graham retiring, you lost Darius Slay to free agency. You didn't bring back Isaiah Rodgers. You lose Josh Sweat as well, and everyone. Who else did you lose? I'm like blanking on some names, but you did lose a lot of veteran depth on that defensive side of the ball and a lot of leadership on that defensive side of the ball. And maybe that's why we saw one too many defensive penalties a lot in this game. And that is something that Vic Fangio is really going to have to find a way to whip into shape with these guys. I understand you guys are young. You can't be making those type of mistakes because we're expecting you guys to be really big here. Melton Williams, that's who I forgot. Thank you, Franco. Thank you for that reminder. So it definitely, you lost a lot of that veteran depth. Brandon Graham, Milton Williams went to New England, Josh Sweat and all that stuff. CJGJ, yes, CJGJ. That's also a very crucial thing right there as well. Freaking what a Dory Jackson, my God, that dude looked terrible. He looked awful. Awful. Now, granted, he did make some plays at the end, but the majority of the experience of Adoree Jackson, not good. Not good. The fucking New York Giants cut this dude, and he is starting right now. Howie is definitely going to have to go to work here. And I'm sure Howie is going to go to work on this quarterback part eventually. But that also just reflects very badly on Keely Ringo as well, but how poorly he did look in training camp, how he was not able to win the starting job. And maybe that's also a fault on the Eagles not getting better competition for Keely Ringo. So I'm sure Howie's going to get to work on that aspect, and that's probably going to come later on. Who knows? Maybe he gets it done sooner rather than later. But that's definitely obviously something that everybody was so uber focused on going into the season was the weakness in the cornerback spot without, with the losing of Darius Slay and Isaiah Rodgers. Um, so Howie was 100% going to get that solved hopefully at some point in the near future. But because Jackson was just that bad out there, it's unreal. It's crazy. Um, what else? Really, if we could just look at some of the stats from this game too. Um, Jalen Hurts, he was 19 of 23 in his completion attempts. He had 152 yards. He averaged 6.6 yards per throw. He did get sacked a few times in this game, definitely. He got sacked once for 8 yards. Finished with a quarterback rating of 94. Running the ball, Eagles definitely ran the ball a lot in that first half. 158 yards, 38 carries in total, 14 by Jalen, 62 yards. 18 of those by Saquon Barkley for 60 yards. He had a touchdown. Jalen had 2 touchdowns as well, the first 2 touchdowns of the game. For the Eagles, Will Shipley had a few runs before he eventually got injured. A.J. Dillon had a few runs as well for 10 yards. On the receiving side, you have 19 receptions for 152. Jahan Dotson, he had the most yards in the game for the Eagles receivers, 3 receptions for 59 yards. Obviously, that 51-yard catch that he had was a beautiful dime by Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goedert had 7 receptions for 44 yards. I was definitely very shocked of how much they were using Dallas Goedert in this game. And that really just from also just not targeting A.J. Brown whatsoever. Saquon Barkley had 4 catches for 24 yards. Devontae Smith had 3 catches for 16 yards. He was targeted 3 times as well. A.J. Brown, obviously, with that 1 target with the 8-yard catch. And then Kylan Granson with a 1-yard reception as well. What else? Quinyon Mitchell with the fumble recovery. Zach Bond had a couple of tackles in this game. Adoree Jackson, it says he has 5 solo tackles in this game. Jordan Davis, I would say, made a presence felt in that second half. Cooper DeJean had some nice plays that interested me. Even a lot of people were saying Jahad Campbell had some very impressive moments, especially during runs as well. I did see some Jahad Campbell moments that definitely did intrigue me. Jalix Hunt as well, getting pressure on Dak Prescott too. Like Nolan Smith had some good moments as well in this game. Quinyon Mitchell had a against the pass interference call early in the game, but then Quinyon Mitchell definitely settled into the game, obviously, when a lot of the guys stepped up in that second half. So it's just like this. I guess that's what you're gonna get with a young defense because they are the youngest defense in football. So that's definitely something that we do need to realize that there's probably going to be a lot of growing pains with a lot of these guys because, like I said, you lost so much veteran depth last in the offseason after the Super Bowl, and you're going basically a pure youth movement with this defense. And granted, some of these guys are from last year, but then you got other guys that were more, I would say, rotational pieces, depth pieces to rotate with those veteran guys. Now some of those guys are expected to take a bigger leap, a bigger jump into this year, and you're probably going to see some growing pains with some of those people. And maybe that's where you see the mistakes with, obviously like a Jalin Hunt and all that stuff. When you see some of these guys that were more rotational pieces, you're going to start seeing them more infused more, and you're going to see more mistakes. You're going to see more growing pains. It's just all basically a gigantic learning process for a lot of these guys, even though they had good learning processes last year when you were playing with guys like Brandon Graham, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and all those other veterans. But now you're expected to try to fulfill those shoes, not fully fulfill those shoes, obviously not fully replace those guys, but take a bigger role, take a bigger leap in your development, take a bigger leap into becoming a full-time NFLer, and that's what we need to see, you know what I mean? So we're definitely going to be seeing those growing pains, but it was good to see those guys step up in the second half and make those adjustments and definitely just shut down Dallas where they were completely obliterating them in the first half. So I definitely do like that adjustment part right there. That is something that definitely does impress me on that standpoint. Jake Elliott hitting a nonchalant 58-yard field goal. So Jake Elliott is back. So that is always nice to see. What else? Just looking at some of the other stats in this game, obviously the penalties were definitely in favor of the Eagles. They took 9 fucking penalties in this game. Jesus Christ. It was just not good. It was not the penalties were not pretty, even though some of them were bullshit, but not pretty whatsoever, in my honest opinion. But sloppy. Week 1. We'll see where it takes us. What next game is week 2 in Kansas City, so definitely gonna be interesting on that front. Isn't Kansas City playing the Chargers tomorrow on YouTube in Brazil? I think that's a thing. So who knows? I guess the long snapper was the problem. maybe, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, it definitely was just a weird game overall. And like I said, that's probably what you're going to be seeing in the first few weeks, just because the team is so young on the defensive side. Even also, you have a new play caller in Kevin Patullo, even though I think they're more just bringing in the same system that they had last year with Kellen Moore and all that stuff. But obviously, there's still something different to that stuff. Like I said, they really need to work more on getting A.J. Brown involved, and I think that will improve as the year goes along. I just hope it's not the same thing as last year where the passing game is just very underwhelming, because I just don't think it's sustainable with the way that Saquon played last year, as amazing as it was. Now, granted, I'm not trying to put this game on that perspective. Dallas just stacked the box, and I think they took advantage of some injuries on the offensive line front with Landon Dickerson and all that. But they definitely did shut down Saquon, and Saquon got off to more of, I would say, a slower start last year before he really started going full throttle through the rest of the year. But definitely, A.J. Brown needs, you just got to throw it to him. You got to throw it to him, even if he's not schemed open. You just got to make you got to allow your playmakers to make plays. That's what you got to do. That's what A.J. Brown is for. That's what Devontae Smith is for. You got to get those guys involved and let them do their thing. It was nice seeing that large dot to Dotson, which was very fun. So hopefully you get some confidence in that as well, and that opens up more lanes. But you need to make your playmakers, get them involved. And that is A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Now, like I said, I do think that will happen as the season goes along. And it's just week 1, so I'm not going to fully nitpick it. It's just something that you got to monitor as the weeks go along, because it was an issue last year. So just gotta point that out. Gotta point that out. What else is there? What else is there? Like I said, this game was just super, super fucking weird. It's crazy. It is crazy. Still can't believe there was a freaking. Can't believe there was a freaking storm delay. All that crap. It's weird. It is so weird. And I did say during the Philly stream that regardless of the time when the game ends, I am streaming, I am recapping this game. And I'm not saying I regret it whatsoever. I am wide awake. And honest to God, I am debating if I'm just going to edit Brodes' stuff tonight, because he is 100% recording his video right now as we speak, or he's exporting the video. I'm assuming he's doing either or. So either it might be a long night for me, or it's going to be a very long morning for me tomorrow, afternoon-wise, or whatever it is. So it's so crazy. Yes, Zach, I know you're probably insanely drunk right now. I saw the videos that you sent to the Brodes Discord. I know you're insanely drunk. I can't wait for your call, though, because it's probably going to be a very intoxicated Zach. Probably going to be a very intoxicated guy. Let's see. So now with the rest of the schedule, Sunday, obviously, Eagles play today, so they don't play Sunday, so we could just watch the rest of the NFL action for the rest of this week. Then they play next Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs on the 14th in Kansas City. That is a 4:25 game. Week 3 against the Los Angeles Rams. 28th against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. blah, 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 rest of the schedule, blah, 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 blah. First important thing is, got the win. They got the win. Most important thing. I am very, very disappointed with Jalen Carter, though. That can't be undermined. Very, very, very disappointed with Jalen Carter because I really felt like he let the team down. A lot of the defense runs through Jalen Carter, that is, and I think it really showed in that first half. It really showed. So I'm very disappointed in him. Very disappointed. You can't be showing that type of immaturity. Third year into the league, you can't be that immature. You can't be You can't be falling for the bait that Dak Prescott did. You just can't fall for that. It's inexcusable. Completely inexcusable. Oh, so Jihad Campbell was the guy that forced the fumble. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff from Jihad Campbell. Very good stuff. Okay, we might as well get to the voicemail line right now. We do have a few here. We do have 3 from Tyler, Mist, and Zach. Yeah, Zach drunk left a 2.5-minute call. Jesus. Tyler did leave this call, I think, before the storm delay. I think he did. I think he left it during the storm delay. So I think this is more on Jalen Carter than anything. So let's see. Oh, wait.
Go Birds! What's going on, Amadeo? I gotta tell you what, man. I don't care how much we're winning by or whatever the fuck have you. When it comes down to it, don't spit in somebody's face. I understand that the first game is real hype and it's real early, but you gotta control your fucking temper, Jalen Carter, number 98. I understand we're winning, and I think we're gonna win, but besides that, I don't want to jinx it, which I probably already did. When it comes to unsportsmanlike conduct, there's a lot of things that I may or may not disagree with, but spitting in someone's face is something that I really don't fucking agree with.
Oh, yeah.
Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts were the only 2 people to really get a touchdown from what I saw, so I'm glad, man. I'm really, really glad. I feel like, hopefully we can win this game. We should win this game, but Jalen Carter being out really hurt us. And that's why you don't spit in someone's face on the first drive of the game. Holy shit, man. But I'll tell you what, hopefully the Eagles win, and hopefully Jalen Carter can get his shit together. The rumors are coming out that he may or may not be suspended, so hopefully it's not the case. But if it is, what the fuck, man? WTF. Control your temper. That's all I got. Go Eagles. Talk to you next time. Peace.
I mean, when I looked up the rules for all that stuff, I saw a rule that for spitting in somebody's face it's usually a fine and not a suspension. But knowing the NFL, they'll probably suspend him. I just have that feeling. Even like I said, I obviously I'm not agreeing with what Jalen Carter did. Disgusting. You don't spit on somebody, and you gotta control your fucking temper there. Yeah, you fell for the fucking bait. I mean, dude, you're a very, very important. You are the important piece to this defense, and really what makes it churn. And if you don't even play a snap in the first few weeks of the season because you spat in Dak Prescott's face because you fell for bait, then, dude, what the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Grow up. Grow up. You're supposed to be a leader on this team. Eventually grow into a leader on this team. Can't be doing that. You can't be doing that. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. It's crazy. Let's see. Let's get to Zach's call. We'll wrap up with Mist's call. Let's get Zach out of the way. See how of a drunken mess this call is. Okay. Let's prepare for it.
My heart did not need that. I could have been all right with just a blowout, boys. Why couldn't it be easy? I'm not going to worry too much about this game, though. There were quite a few red flags. Number 1, Jalen Carter, unacceptable. Should be fined $500,000. I don't even care. Just Jeffrey Lurie, take it and donate it somewhere in Philadelphia, because that is disgusting. That is childish. I don't care what Dak Prescott did. That was a savvy veteran move to piss off a guy with the maturity of adolescent boy. But everybody that wants to talk about Jalen Hurts and this and that and, oh, how does he throw the ball and how does he do this and that? He was the best player tonight for the Philadelphia Eagles. He absolutely stepped up when he needed him most. And it might not show up in the stat sheet because nobody was getting open. A.J. Brown was nowhere to be seen. Devontae Smith barely did anything. Dallas Goedert was your number one receiver. I mean, it was scramble after scramble for Jalen Hurts keeping this offense going. And it's like Lane Johnson said last year, this offense is just constipated. I know it's an early year thing. It always tends to be, but, God, this team is terrible. Of course, with the defense, Jalen Carter being out, it's a big difference. You know, I think it'll look a lot different, you know, next week against Kansas City when he's back. But Adoree Jackson looked bad at times. Tackling looked bad at times. They just looked to get out physical a few times. The running back, Javonte Williams, was getting constant extra yards a few times. You know, so I don't know. CeeDee Lamb almost gave you this game a bit too. He dropped a few wide open balls. One of them was tough to catch, but receiver his caliber should have caught at least one of them. This is a wacky game, dude. I don't know. I'm kind of flipping out. I'm not hitting the panic button or anything, but this is how it starts for the Eagles. It's always like this. Division opponent. I was not counting the Cowboys out to make this a close game, by the way. I was pounding the drum, blowout, 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 but you always know when Dak Prescott's playing the Eagles, for some reason, it's always close. No matter how sick it makes you, it's the truth. So I'm rambling on here. I've had quite a bit to drink tonight, and I ain't done yet, believe me on that. So
Jesus.
I'll get back to that. But
Please.
go Birds, baby.
For a guy that is already drunk, apparently you don't sound that drunk in the call. But please, don't drink yourself into a coma right here, right? I need one of my loyal callers and my loyal callers here, and people here on the channel, to not have a coma here. I don't need an alcohol-induced coma. Well, no, of course, I don't think there's anything need to panic. Obviously, it's week 1, and like I said, it's very, very young team, and I think they showed a lot of their immaturity today on the young side. And that's something for Vic Fangio to whip them into shape for. Majority, I am very disappointed with Jalen Carter. I think that's bottom line. He's normal drunk. He's yet to reach Baltimore drunk. I didn't know there was a difference. I didn't know there was a difference between normal drunk and Baltimore. I didn't know Baltimore had a different type of drunk. Zach also left a couple of texts as well. Didn't even mention in my call, Saquon did next to nothing in the interior of our offensive line, was not effective. Jalen Hurts stepped up and got you a W when none of his weapons contributed much. What are the haters going to say now, MVP? His sixth sense to scramble on third down is so clutch. Defense was definitely a concern early. Adoree Jackson was not good. Pass rush wasn't great, but got to take that with a grain of salt having Carter out. Overall concern for the defense's depth in general will be a lot to work through. There will be growing pains. Oh, yeah, obviously. It's always going to be slow for the offense early in seasons adjusting to a new system. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly my mindset. Let's get the Mist call. Let's see what you got, Mist.
What's up, Amadeo? It's Mist. Man, look, we know that was an ugly game, but a win is a win. And a win against the Cowboys is even better. Look, the offense obviously shined quite a bit at times in the first half. Had some troubles in the second half, but obviously the offensive line wasn't quite cohesive, and obviously Dickerson was dealing with that back problem the whole game, and that was causing some issues. And he had to throw Todd in there, suddenly, and he's got a lot of potential, but he's maybe not quite there yet. So you get some struggle there, some weird play calling, which we're used to at this point, I guess. And the defense, as ugly as they looked at times, you lose Jalen Carter. Won't even get into that, but you lose him. You know how this works. You lose a guy that takes up so much real estate from the offensive line. They're able to reallocate things, and suddenly, their offense has a lot more openings, to work with. And The whole back end, we already knew was going to be a struggle. You have guys who didn't even know were going to be on the roster 2 weeks ago. They're out there playing. So it's going to take some time. So you know what? They come out of it with a win, and that's a big W. Go Birds.
Yeah, I think that is perfectly said there. Jalen Carter, there was a video from Tim McManus on Jalen Carter responding to everything here. So let's hear what Jalen has to say.
Hey, Jalen, could you explain what happened from your vantage point?
You know, it was a mistake that happened on my side, and it just won't happen again. You know, I feel bad for just my teammates and the fans out there. You know, I'm doing it for them. You know, I'm doing it for my family also, but the fans, you know, they show the most love. You heard them out there today. Just not being able to start the game, even finish the game, is just fucked me up. But we'll get it better. It won't happen again.
Yeah, can we
I can make that promise.
Hey, just give him a little bit of room.
There's some footage later that showed that Dak may have done something first. Do you feel like he precipitated it?
A little bit of room.
No, I don't try to do nothing out of the ordinary. You know, anything that I feel like I have done something back is provoked. But you know, if there's something out there, y'all see it, we'll go off that.
I mean, that's probably the answer you should. He gave a good answer. He's taken accountability for it, so he said the right thing. So we'll just see where it goes. Let's see. What else? Okay, this is on a Dallas tweet right here. For what it's worth, Jason Garrett just explained Dak Prescott's side of the spit gate. That's what they're calling it, oh god. Dak told him that he was talking to Tyler Booker, had to spit. When he did, Jalen Carter was close by. Carter said, "You spit at me." Prescott smiled and said, "Why would I spit at you?" And Carter spit back. Okay. Oh, okay. I doubt that's real. But, okay. Okay, whatever you say. What else is there? I guess it's, Carter owned up to it, so we'll see. Of course, Jerry Jones is going to put praise up for his head coach, Schottenheimer, of course. What else is there? Urinating Tree said, "I can't believe it. A.J. Brown finally was able to catch a pass." Can't believe they're calling it Spitgate now. They're calling it. Milton Williams even reacted. What the? Twitter, Jesus. Oh, man, the crazy boys. Crazy, like I said, crazy day. Crazy. Can't believe it. So let me get to you guys in the chat right here. We are on 40 minutes, so we'll be shutting it down soon. It is 1 in the morning, so at this rate, I'm probably more going to bed because I have I'm also refreshing my phone constantly just to see if Brodes is uploading his video. Unless he's just saving it for the morning now, which probably at this case he is. I don't know. So we'll see. But who knows? Michael, how you doing? One of those games where you're just glad to get an ugly win. Oh yeah. Like I said, the first few weeks we should just expect, especially just with new offensive coordinator and also just a very young defense, it's going to be weird. It's not going to be perfect out of the gate. Like it was at the end of the season, basically. And granted, some of the playoff games weren't perfect either. They just dominated at the right time. So, just gotta go through the journey. We're just starting the journey over again. And, they'll get better. They'll obviously get better. They'll get to a point where we need them to. So, that's just what it's going to be. But yeah, Carter, it's unacceptable, obviously. Offense was really good in the first, but man, this team needs some work. Yeah, they do need to figure out how to scheme open their receivers more. It's getting to a weird point. Jackson is burnt toast. Dude is atrocious. The Eagles and Phillies won on my birthday. I'm happy. Ugly, a moral victory. LOL Dodgers and Cowboys. Happy birthday, Frank. Well, happy belated birthday, Franco. Hopefully you had a good birthday with 2 Philly sports teams winning. Hopefully Dak starting it will save us from him missing another game. Maybe they can throw that into the factor. Maybe they could. Maybe they could. We need Bennett to be a competent CB2 because Adoree Jackson is washed, especially if not, then trade for a legit cornerback. Oh, yeah. It's funny, too, the minute Bennett came into the game, pass interference. First play. Crazy. Turpin was butthurt because, man, was yeah, Turpin was so pissed off in that second half. And man was putting good punts out there. He was keeping it out of his range. So got to keep the ball out of a playmaker's hands, and that dude was very explosive on returns. AJ Brown, yep. If Jalen Carter didn't decide to be an idiot, we destroyed the Cowboys. It's the primary reason why the Cowboys were even in the game to begin with. I need more from Saquon for my fantasy team. I'm sure a lot of people are saying that. I did get 8 points from Jake Elliott, though. I got 8 points from Jake Elliott. Nice, good old 56-yarder. Good old 56-yarder. Got a good old 8 points from Jake Elliott. Did I get anything else from? I think I just have Elliott as an Eagle on my team. Yeah, I just have Jake. Jake is the only Eagle on my team. I don't have any Cowboys either. I might as well go over my fantasy team. So, obviously, some of the guys that are in the Broads chat are in here, so they know my team. But so I didn't get my quarterback, and I had like pick 6 in our draft. So I obviously didn't prioritize quarterback this time. So my quarterbacks are, and we did like a, what did we do? What was it, like a 2-position system or something like that, where we had like 2 quarterbacks and all that crap? We had like 2 of each position or something like that, the way we did our system. So my quarterbacks are Bo Nick and Caleb Williams, and then my bench quarterback is Justin Fields. My 2 starting wide receivers are Puka Nacua and DJ Moore. Jahmyr Gibbs and, is that Bucky Irving? Yeah, Bucky Irving are my starting running backs. My tight end is Trey McBride. My I guess flex guys are Xavier Worthy and Montgomery, David Montgomery. Kickers Jake Elliott. And I have 2 defenses, Baltimore and the Rams. That's what my team is. So that's what my team is. Not sure what it's going to get me. It's Yahoo is projecting me to barely lose the Zach's team actually today by like 4 points actually. Even though right now I'm up 8-0, but it's not projecting me to win. But who knows? Anything weird could happen. But Zach has Lamar Jackson and Matt Stafford as his quarterbacks. Justin Jefferson, Mike Evans, Josh Jacobs, Kyron Williams, Travis Kelce, Breece Hall, Terry McLaurin. Jesus Christ. We'll see. We'll see what he does. We'll see what he does. Should have never let Slayer Rodgers go in the offseason. Yeah. Maybe Isaiah Rodgers more than, and I'm not trying to discredit Slay or anything, but who knows? Even though Slay probably would be better than Adoree Jackson, 100%. I'm interested to see Jared Johnson's reaction to the loss. He's a Dallas, North Texas sports fan, by the way, except for the Texas Longhorns. The Longhorns play in Austin, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. I actually don't know, actually. Texas Longhorns location. Yep, Austin. They play at Austin. NBA type of penalty. Brandon, how you doing? Brandon, how you doing? I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. If you are new here, I definitely recommend you hitting subscribe. They were very lucky to win that game. That was selfish, stupid, and uncalled for what Jalen Carter did. No excuse for that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Eagles should have had at least 2 picks. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Entire offense relied on individual skill alone. They will get better. Oh, yeah, I do agree, Julian. I do agree. There's a different Julian now. Julian C is the other Julian. If you're also new here, Julian S., definitely hit that subscribe button. Oh yeah, Campbell's gonna be good. Campbell's gonna be good. He showed his flashes. Showed his flashes. What else? The Dak beat it doesn't match the body language at all from Dak. He was looking right at him. Yeah, who knows? Tyler, this reminds me of the Roger Jackson situation, emotional dysfunction. I did see that random ass Flyers trade this afternoon. I was actually with Brodes when it happened. It was weird. Danny Briere trying to overshoot the fucking Eagles opening day, even though that minor ass trade, I'm gonna just overshoot shit. The league is kind of weird. I didn't realize when we drafted. Oh yeah, it's because like it was like a lot of people like weren't there or like weren't like really responsive to what it was, and like I think at the amount of players that we had, or it was like odd or even or something like that. I don't know. We just tried something different. Who knows? It's all good and fun. We didn't wager anything, so it is what it is. But I think for the most part, let's see. Jalen Hurts is obviously talking right now on post game. Is there anything else? Also, might as well just check and see if Brodes is uploading anything now. Who knows? He might be waiting until the morning. He might be. I probably should text him. He probably is. Dylan, we need changes with the defense. These guys we lost in the offseason were a big loss. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Howie will make those changes, no doubt. Howie will. I drafted that team drunk at a wrestling show. You were always drunk, Zach. You were always drunk. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. But, y'all excited for AJ Lee, the return? Most likely tomorrow on SmackDown. That'll be the case. I'm not getting in the wrestling talk. That'll last too long. That'll last too long. But, yeah. Most likely, I would assume Brodes is doing his show tomorrow, unless he's just doing a very late show. Unless he's waiting for, I don't even know. I don't know what's happening. But at this rate, I am not editing it this late at night. It's 1:12. I need to sleep. So, I do appreciate you guys tuning in this late. Obviously, with the whole weirdness with this game and the storm delay. That's why this was later than had to be. But I do appreciate you guys for tuning out. So, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. Also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. And yeah. I'm trying to think of what to do for the. I probably won't recap each game at the Phillies Miami series this weekend. I'll probably wait till Sunday. So I have nice 2 days off here. Also, like I said, tomorrow's be very busy with editing and all that stuff with Brodes, with Russ, with fighting words and all that stuff. Who knows? It's gonna be a long day tomorrow. I already know. It was a long day today. Long day tomorrow. So appreciate y'all for tuning in, chatting it up. Want to know, most important thing. And we'll see what this journey takes us on this year. So, thanks guys for tuning in tonight. Go Birds.